Ladies and gentlemen, we interrupt our program of dance music to bring you a special bulletin from the Intercontinental Radio News.
Take me out to the ball game. Take me out to the crowd.
Yeah, howdy, hi. Good evening, America. Welcome to the sports page as we take you out to the ball game in a flash here on Monday, December 13th. Let's go ahead and dive into everything at hand. First of all, let's get the college football out of the way. Alabama quarterback Young goes out and wins the Heisman Trophy. There was a hell of a Army-Navy football game over the weekend. And other thing that is really heating up is the transfer portal and some of the teams and some of the names that are going to be involved in that. The Sooners, Oklahoma Sooners, Brent Venables got his first major commitment of the new Oklahoma football recruiting season, and that was for him to go out and get Nick Evers, who is a top-rated quarterback, ranked in the ESPN Top 300. He's the number 8 pocket passer in the country and had been committed to the University of Florida. So that's the first big splash that Brent Venables makes with the Sooners. Other things that are happening out there, I'd say the big one, and there's a lot in the transfer portal, but the one that we'll focus on today, and we'll do more of this down the road, is Beau leaving Auburn. Kind of a shocker. There were a bunch of other ones, and we'll see where he ends up, but you're going to see the college football landscape change dramatically each year. Different than any other that we've ever seen, and it's because of the transfer portal, and kids are able to just jump ship and not lose any playing time. Beau is actually graduating, so he'll be able to be available immediately. And where he ends up, we'll see. Look, he's had his issues at Auburn. He's turnover problems, but he became a pretty decent quarterback this year. We'll see where he ends up. And there's a million places he could end up. For me to sit here and try to speculate where he goes would be disingenuous, but I'll be interested to see where he ends up at and where that ends up affecting other kids, not just ones that are in the transfer portal, but ones that are in the recruiting classes. Because you've got the recruiting classes that are, the window is opening up here in a few days, and that'll be the early signing period, and we'll be doing more on that. Let's go ahead and transfer over into the NFL. And we've got a lot of games that took place yesterday. One of the biggest stories, I think, yesterday is how many games that were just absolutely dull as hell. You got a gang of have and had nots, and you've got, if you just look at the scoreboard yesterday, the Titans win by 20, the Seahawks win by 20. Bills-Bucks was a hell of a ball game. Browns-Ravens. Chiefs-Raiders. That's a 39-point game. Saints-Jets, 21-point game. Cowboys only win by 7, but they almost blew the doors off of Washington. If it wasn't for a goofy pick six with about 4 minutes left in the game, that would have been a blowout. Panthers was a decent game. Broncos and Lions, 38-10. Giants, Chargers, that was a blowout. All in all, there were 7 blowouts yesterday. It's half the league. It's got to be concerning for the NFL because you're going to see some really bad football. You're going to see some really bad football down the stretch here, and they want parity, especially now with an extra week in the season, but they are going to struggle to find that. And we go ahead and take a look at the standings real quick. And the AFC East, New England, now has a 2-game lead on Buffalo. The AFC North, Baltimore losing yesterday. It is now an absolute foot race in the AFC North because you've got Baltimore with a 1-game lead over Cleveland and Cincinnati and a 1.5-game lead over Pittsburgh. Remember, Pittsburgh had the tie earlier in the year to the terrible Lions. That division's going to go down to the bitter end. Titans and Colts in the AFC South. But you've already got Houston and Jackson with 4 weeks left. They're already eliminated. That's absolutely awful. There are 3 teams in the NFL that are already eliminated. No, 4 teams in the NFL that are already eliminated from the playoffs. Jets, Texans, Jaguars, and the Lions. It's absolutely terrible to have 4 teams already eliminated. That's not what the NFL wants. You look at the AFC West, Chiefs, they're sitting at 9-4. The Chargers are 8-5. And the Broncos 7-6. I will say this when it comes to the Raiders, who are now 6-7. When you go and stomp on the logo of your rival in the middle of their home field, win the damn game or at least show up. Don't lose 48-9 after you're dancing on the logo of your arch rival. My God, show up. You got pushed around, punched in the nards, jammed up into their neck, skirt pulled over their head, and shoved into a locker. Good God, Raiders. Raider fans have to be absolutely embarrassed. Raiders trying to be the old Oakland Raiders, trying to be the bad boys. They were just a big damn joke is all they are. NFC East, you got the Cowboys now with a 3-game lead with 4 to play? It's over. That division is absolutely over. The only chance they had was Washington going out and winning yesterday to bring them a little closer, and it's a wrap. Cowboys are undefeated in the division, got a 3-game lead on Washington and Philly. That division is done. NFC North, that division is done. Packers 10-3 with Minnesota 6-7, and the Bears are just waiting for the season to end. NFC South, that division is done. Buccaneers have a 4-game lead with 4 play. Their magic number is now down to 1. All they need is a win or a loss by Atlanta or New Orleans, and it's a wrap. And then you got the NFC West. They're playing tonight. Rams and Cardinals. If the Rams really want to make a run at this division, they have to win tonight. If they lose, that division will be done. So let's just play devil's advocate and say that Arizona wins. No division race will be left in the NFC realistically. And you'll have 2 division races of worth in the AFC in the North and the West. The South and the East essentially are almost over. The Titans have only a 2-game lead on Indianapolis, but remember, they beat Indianapolis twice. So they realistically have a 3-game lead on the Colts. Their magic number to win that division is 2. Any form of the Titans and Colts, of the Titans winning and the Colts losing, the number is 2 there. Pats and Bills, still a little life left in Buffalo. They do play New England again next week. Well, not this coming week, but the following week. And they'll have an honest approach as far as being able to come out there and get that W. This week, Patriots are at the Bills. Patriots are at the Colts. And that's going to be the Sunday night game. That's actually, I think that, no, I'm sorry, that's the Saturday night. It's a Saturday night NFL game. It's actually a pretty good game for the Saturday evening game. And then the Bills, they are this week at home against the Panthers, but it's the following week they're at the Patriots. You look at that Bills-Patriots game, Remember, the Patriots have won 7 in a row. They're at the Colts. I think I said Bills Patriots. I meant Colts Patriots. Colts Patriots game. The winner of that game is in good position when it comes to the overall playoff. The loser sinks a little lower. Now, if the Colts were to lose, it's going to hurt their chances to win the division immensely. But more so, if you look at the actual playoff implications on that, the Colts right now are sitting number 6 in the AFC. The Bills are number 7. Now, look, there's a logjam. You have the Denver Broncos, Cincinnati, Cleveland, Buffalo, Indianapolis are all sitting at 7 and 6. So for argument's sake, we're going to put them all together because, right now it's Indy, Buffalo, Browns, and Bengals and Broncos is how it's ranked. Okay, so 5 teams sitting at 7 and 6. But it's because of different tiebreakers and whatnot. But we're 4 games away from finishing off all the tiebreakers. So right now, I'm going to call it a dead-footed tie. When we get to the final week of the season, we can start looking at tiebreakers. Right now, it's a little too early. I will say this as far as conference records go. Denver and Cleveland and Buffalo have the biggest hill to climb because they have 5 losses in conference. Colts and Bengals only have 3 losses. But that's where you're looking at right now. Right now, if it all ended today, the Chargers have a 1-game lead on everyone for that first wild card, and then it's Colts and Bills. In the NFC, you got the Rams, 49ers, and then Washington football team is tied with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different teams for that last spot. They're at 6 and 7. Those teams are the Saints, the Falcons, the Eagles, the Vikings, and Washington. They're all going to be fighting for that final wild card spot. And they're not that far off from San Francisco. They're not that far off from, if the Rams lose tonight, they'll have 5 losses. They'll be down in the mix. That's why this game is critical for the Rams. It's not as important for Arizona, but Arizona's at home. So I do like Arizona to win. In fact, I took them on the money line earlier in the week when the line was a little lower. I believe right now, if we look at it today, the line is all the way up to -3. When I took it, Arizona was a 1.5-point favorite, and I believe it might have been 2, but the important thing is I got it on the money line at -135, and I remember thinking that was pretty low on a money line to be at home, especially a team with the best record in the NFL. So I went ahead and went with it. You've also got the fact that Higbee won't be playing. You've got the fact that Jalen Ramsey won't be playing. They're both on the COVID-19 list. So there's a lot of things to unpack there, but that's what we're looking at today. As far as the takeaway from this weekend, basically I think you have a lot of haves and have-nots. And you look at the scoreboard going into next week, which obviously is a critical week when we get to week 15 in the NFL. The Thursday night game, by the way, is phenomenal. It's Chiefs and Chargers. Saturday night, Patriots and Colts. Saturday afternoon, Raiders and Browns. It is important to a degree, but And then also you've got Jets, Dolphins. Dolphins have climbed their way back into the conversation. They're still on the outside looking in, but watch out for the Dolphins because they have such an easy schedule. The Titans are at the Steelers. Titans are a 2-point favorite. Tell you how far the Steelers have fallen to be a home dog to a team who doesn't have their best player, may not have their best 2 players. Texans and Jaguars, nobody cares about that, but you got the Saints and Bucks. It's a Sunday night game. It's kind of a deflating Sunday night game for the Saints to be at the Bucks, and that's going to be what we're looking at, but should be entertaining. I do think that Taysom Hill and company will make it interesting. I just don't think that they can upset Tampa Bay and Tampa. Panthers and Bills, Cardinals, Lions. That should be an absolute blow. It's 14 points is the line right now. I think that'll only get higher. And then you've got Cowboys, Giants this weekend. Giants are terrible. Giants are absolutely terrible. Washington and the Eagles. Other games you're looking at, Bengals at Broncos. That is huge in the AFC wild card. So circle that one. And 49ers hosting the Falcons. Circle that one. That's a big one. Packers at the Ravens. That should be a lot of fun. But if Lamar Jackson can't play because of his injured ankle, then I think it's going to be an absolute boat race. And then you also have the Rams and Seahawks, but the Rams ought to take care of the Seahawks. The Seahawks have won a couple of games here the last couple of weeks to keep their heads above water, but they will not win the wild card. They're 5-8. They're going to have to win out and get a lot of help. All right, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. I want to wish my wife a happy birthday, and we will see you Thursday for Take Me Out to the Ball Game.
Take me out to the ball game.